Hello and welcome to SoundCheck Music School's podcast, episode 14. My name is Electra Barakos.
I'm Dan Welby.
What's going on, Dan?
Trying some new things here as we get started for this one.
Oh, like what?
Well, we're trying to keep the dog a little under control here.
Yeah.
You know, he kind of got a little rambunctious during the last one. He's not the only reason, but part of the reason why we're doing this one again.
Yeah, this is take 2 of episode 14. We had it ready, and then we watched it back, and we're like, you know what? You guys deserve better than this.
Yes, and we're going to give it to you.
So,
and we got the mutt locked up, and hopefully he's going to remain quiet. We'll see.
And we're bribing him with treats.
With some treats as we go. Let me pay him off a little bit here.
Yeah, bribing him with treats.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what's new?
Well,
last week we went on hiatus too. We didn't do an episode last week.
Yeah.
Just got busy and.
Yeah, I mean everything's good, man. I mean, we're still in the presence of the whole pandemic, but it's been a blessing. Our business has started to pick up a bit. We've been getting some calls, and we've got some people that have been wanting to come in and do some lessons, and we've got some signups, and it seems as if. We got some people out there that are just trying to get back into it a little bit, and we're excited about that. And we're excited to be here for them and to offer the music lessons. So
yeah, and I think that people are looking for different outlets because everybody's on virtual. So I think so I think that they do want the kids occupied with something is more in person.
Yeah.
Of course, that being said, most of our clients are still virtual.
Yeah, most of it's online.
Most of them, yes. So, but like you said, things have picked up, so it's looking pretty good.
Yeah, it's good.
Until, of course, it's not.
Well, let's not go there. I mean, I like to stay forward-thinking and optimistic, and I think that's the better way to think. And I'd rather just let's keep things going forward.
Exactly.
And being better.
Exactly. Anything else? We had a gig.
Yeah, we did have a gig. That was it was among the more interesting gigs I've ever had. I've played some interesting, weird gigs in my life, and this one was, it's right up. It's in the top 10 of the most unique because, when and if I'll ever do that again, I don't know.
Well, we are going to try to take it seriously, but let's fill you guys in. So. Darren Thomas McGuire, one of our teachers and friends at our school, he actually had this idea to approach his manager at his apartment complex building and to throw a in-home live concert in the lobby while everybody can view us from their balconies. Yeah. And he invited Dan and I to join in and jam out some songs. And we had one rehearsal, played a bunch of new songs that we've never done before. And it was going into it, I was just like, okay, this is weird, whatever. How good is it going to be? But, I was excited to finally perform after such a long time.
So many months.
Yeah. So for whatever it is. But honestly, when we got there, I was like, oh my God, is this going to be okay? But it actually turned out pretty cool.
Yeah, it was fun. It was definitely unique and fun, and in the end, I had a great time.
A lot of people. I mean, not everybody, but a lot of the people from the apartments came out and watched us on the balcony. They were having their drinks, having their phones out, videotaping us, whatever.
Yeah.
But dancing along, singing along. I could see one of the guys, he was singing along.
Yeah.
So it was neat. And then, so if you are looking to book your next entertainment for your apartment complex, please call us.
Yeah, I was thinking we need to do like the apartment complex tour. You know?
Exactly.
We just go around and set up in people's lobbies, and all they got to do is step outside their front door and hang out on the balcony to watch. Yeah. So social distant and everything, all that.
So we haven't performed in such a long time. Were you at all? And this is going to kind of tie into the topic. Were you at all nervous about this gig?
Well, I guess I was on a slight level, maybe not quite the stage fright way that we're going to be talking about, but I think I almost go into every set or every concert that I play, whatever, with a certain bit of nervousness, and I think that that's healthy. it shows that you're humble and you understand that, hey, you're not perfect. And, and
usually
it keeps you on your toes.
Yeah, I was going to say, usually when you're overconfident, that's when you mess up.
Dude, I think about it. I've gone back to like when I was younger. I definitely had gone into gigs like, yeah, I'm the man, and I'm so like ready for this, and it's gonna be the best show I've ever had, and it's just a disaster. And that happened to me a handful of times, and I started to learn, because as you do it more, you start to play more games with yourself, mentally speaking. How do you prepare? And I just started to learn that the more ego I brought with it, that the worse it tended to go.
Right.
So I think, and I just learned that there's a certain bit of nervousness that you just need to have, because it brings just a deeper sense of awareness. You're not taking things for granted, and you're just being aware, So
the term stage fright, right? Very common term. Everybody who's inexperienced with music may come to lessons and be like, especially voice lessons.
Sure.
I have major stage fright. I need your help. Let's explain perhaps what stage fright means, and what would you say?
Honestly, I would think that definition of that is going to be different for everybody. I think, in general, what does it mean? It sounds like, if you wanted to just take it for its word, is that you're afraid to be on stage for who knows what reason. It could be because you don't like people looking at you. You don't want to be the focus of the attention.
I was going to say, and the word stage is also kind of quote unquote stage, because for me, it means afraid of being the center of attention.
Center of attention,
right?
Yeah.
So that could literally be in a table meeting
Sure.
where you need to speak up and do a presentation, perhaps in a classroom.
Sure.
Just raising your hand, that's
yeah, that's the same thing. Absolutely.
It could be anxiety, some sort of form of anxiety, but I think that there is an extremely relevance between that and stage fright.
Definitely.
The term stage fright. I've had several students in the past, throughout my teaching career, where I've had students that come. I had this one person who was a lawyer, and she wanted to be able to dominate the court a little better. So she wanted to take voice lessons just so she can gain that confidence with her voice, so she can actually speak up.
That's cool.
Yeah. So, but stage fright, let's maybe narrow it down to music.
Sure. Well, I've asked my students, we do showcases at the school, and we give the students the opportunity to perform live on stage. And, when we present that to the newer students, some of them will be like, okay, cool. They don't say much. And others, they turn white. And it's like, what?
Yeah, their eyes just get huge.
So wait, what do you mean when you say performance?
People?
Yeah.
How many people will be there?
Yeah. So you get these questions, and so, I'll ask them, well, what are you afraid of?
Yeah.
And the number one answer, I think, is making a mistake.
Messing up.
That's the number one answer we get when it comes to stage fright. It's like, I don't want to mess up. Okay, well, I understand that. Nobody wants to do that,
But mistakes happen.
Oh, constantly.
I don't think I've ever had a perfect performance.
Yeah.
But most of the times, I'm the only person who knows that, and my band.
Sure.
Right? The people that watching us don't even know. So
unless it's really bad. Which I've had those.
Oh, I've had those. Many of them. But it's the aspect of actually doing it, performing the more you can, and messing up.
Yeah.
That's going to get you better.
Yep, you got to learn how to make mistakes
and move on.
And move on, yeah, and that's a big thing. And we discussed that in the lessons, of course, but there's really no substitute for feeling that on stage, because everything about being on stage is different. The energy, what's the word I'm looking for? The finalizing thing of it. It's like there's no do-overs.
No.
You're on stage. That's it. If it
you got one shot.
Yeah, that's it. So you have to be ready for that. And
You do. And you have to know how to cope through those mistakes. And again, but now listen to us. We're creating this whole, like, you have to be able to do this and you have to be able to do that. And then, but don't be afraid. Everything's going to be great. So it sounds scary. It really does. But in all honesty, like I said, it's one of those things that you just have to face your fears because you cannot replicate the feeling of live performance in any lesson or band rehearsal. There's no way. There's no possible way. You cannot replicate a feeling of the performance that you would have in one venue versus another venue.
Sure. Yeah.
One night versus a different night.
Right. Each night can be different.
Each night can be different. You could be in the same venue and each night is different because the crowd is different. The amounts of people are different. Is different. Or again, the vibe, the feed, how the people are reacting. Everything is different. And then of course you have a band to worry about. Which, what if the guitar player messes up? What if the bass player messes up? What if the drummer? Oh, drummers never mess up. Never.
Jeez.
So
why would we even bring that up?
I don't know. All those elements add to it, right? But you can't worry as a front, like as a singer, right? Or even as a drummer. You cannot possibly go into a performance worrying about whether your band member is going to make a mistake.
No.
Like that's so wrong. I've had students. Remember back in the day when we used to do the showcases and we would have our students perform to live tracks. Not live tracks, karaoke tracks.
Right.
Lame. I know. Yeah. But it was the beginning stages of SoundCheck.
That's right.
Okay.
Gotta start somewhere.
So then we graduated from that and demanded that everybody is just with a live band. But when I had students go from the track to the live band, I remember so often I would get I don't know if I want to do that because, what if the band messes up? And I'm like, girl, if the band messes up, you won't even know it because they're pros. But you can't go in worrying about that. And if they do mess up, that's just the lesson learned right there, that you have to understand how to stick with your part and just
adapt and overcome, man. Mm-hmm. That's what it is, and you have to learn how to do that.
Exactly.
So, so the stage fright thing, so with people being afraid of messing up, right? That's going to be one of the big ones, it seems. I'm sure there's others. I mean, me as a drummer, I always feel at this point comfortable sitting behind my drum set. And I feel like I'm protected back there. And almost like nobody can see me. I mean, I know people can, but it feels different for me back there. And if I decide to stand up in the front of the stage with, just say, like a microphone, it's different. And I can feel what stage fright is more than, because I don't feel as comfortable and as protected.
Yeah, I just had this thought though, right? So I'm always in front.
Right.
I'm always up front. I'm the singer. I MC all our shows. I'm so used to it. But if you actually put me to play piano, right? My hands, my fingers would be shaking like crazy. So this goes to, I think, the idea of just not being comfortable.
Yeah.
Right.
General confidence in a way.
Exactly. And like, I haven't put the amount of hours in behind the piano, performing live.
Right. To
get comfortable with that idea, as you haven't put the amount of hours talking to a microphone in front of people.
Right.
So this takes us back to you have to practice and you have to do it to get better at it and not be afraid. But even like take guitar player singers that play guitar, and they always play with their guitar, and then they put the guitar aside and do a song without the guitar, and they feel naked and awkward, and
because the guitar is usually there.
Yeah, and they feel like they can hide behind that guitar.
Right. And I guess when they're playing guitar and singing, most likely they're standing still because the microphone's got to be on a stand. Whereas if you're not playing guitar and you're just singing, you should probably be moving around a little bit instead of just standing there like behind, hands behind your back and singing,
And, thinking of moving around. But this kind of just is limited to the singer aspect, not necessarily a drummer. Guitarists and bass players, though, they can move around. But I always tell my students that, honestly, standing still, you're literally bringing so much tension to your body that it's enhancing the nerves and it's not helping you relieve the stress of being on stage. And if you start moving your body, you're relaxing and actually makes things a lot better, much more comfortable, more fun. And then you're also, you're a reflection to the people. Like however you act and feel on stage reflects upon the people that are watching you. And if you're having fun, the people will have fun. If you seem nervous, people are going to be nervous with you.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
That's definitely true.
Yeah. So, moral of the story, just do it. Stop dreading it. Just do it.
Yeah, you just have to jump, so to speak. I mean, it's like, okay, if you're into music and you want to play music and you want to learn an instrument, I mean, really, performing is a big part of that. I mean, is it the only part of it? Is it the only reason? Not necessarily. I mean, I guess you could become a musician that just does it for themselves as something to do for fun on the other side of things. And, okay, maybe you don't want to perform. Okay, fine, whatever, you don't have to do that. But I think most people that pick up an instrument have some kind of a desire to perform, and just know that, honestly, stage fright is so common. I mean, everybody gets nervous, and no matter, we say do it, right? Do it more. No matter how many times you do it, you're always going to be a little bit nervous. Yeah. What you end up learning by doing it more is how to cope with your nerves. Exactly.
It's not that you're never going to be nervous. You're just going to learn how to deal with them better, how to recover from mistakes faster and well, and not make funny faces on stage if you mess up. That's all. I mean, but to say that you're not going to be nervous at all.
Yeah. I said in the beginning,
it's a good thing.
You don't want to be there. If you're not nervous at all, then you might want to wonder what's going on.
Probably don't care much.
Right, exactly. So,
but I mean, again, we weren't that nervous about last gig, but it was,
But I mean, come on. I mean, I've been drumming for 28 years.
Exactly.
It's like I've been, okay, obviously there's people out there that have played more than I have live, no doubt. But I mean, I have played substantially amount.
But it was a very casual gig. We were with our friends.
Yeah.
It was just kind of a jam. I mean, we didn't even know if there were going to be people there, and then they ended up being people. But it obviously the nature of the gig does influence and the amount of nerves that you may have. If we had shown up, for example, at that apartment complex and like the whole lobby was full of people and
hanging
like
over the balcony railing,
and like going crazy, I mean, it would be exciting, and I probably would have been a little more nervous. Like, oh wow, this is a lot more than I expected,
Right.
But it was not like that. It was a very casual time, and that's fine. What I do suggest to my singers, the way to get better at stage fright and live performances is actually to, obviously we keep saying doing it more, but if you don't have the opportunities of live performance at a real live venue, especially, well, right now you have no opportunities. Right. So we're going to pretend COVID doesn't exist. But when we're past this stage of life and we're back to normal, karaoke bars, right? Go to karaoke bars. If you don't want to be seen by your friends, go by yourself. Go to area neighborhoods that you don't live in, and you're not going to run into people and go and just sing and just try to exercise that performance aspect.
I like it.
There could be some open mic nights or live band karaoke bands where
possibly
you could go in as a drummer or something, or
I mean, for a drummer, I mean, listen, practice is really what it's going to come down to. Mm-hmm. Some other things you could do to help would be to record yourself and listen back. and or videotape with your phone. Set up. I mean, nowadays everybody's got cameras. It's pretty easy to record yourself and watch back, and try to look for things that you do that you think look silly, and try to stop doing them, and try to look for things that you do that that kind of look cool when I did that. Good, do a little more of that.
You raised such a valid point right now.
Of course, every point I raise is valid.
I take that back immediately. No, what I was going to say is, so many of my students over the years, they hate watching themselves back, and which is understandable. I mean, nobody really likes watching themselves, except for me. I'm just joking.
Well,
no, but we've learned to watch ourselves.
Of course, yeah.
So this is where I'm going with this. And at years ago, I was in this cover band, and it was one of my first, it was the first cover band I ever was in. Anyways, it doesn't matter. What I was trying to say is that I went back and watched a video of someone who took. And I noticed I was doing something with my hand that I never realized I was doing. And it looked so stupid. And I was like, oh my God. And I did it every single time I was saying. And I'm like, why am I doing this? I would have never known that I did that had I not watched myself back. And guess what? From that point on, I'm aware of this habit that I didn't consciously know I was doing, and stopped doing it.
Yeah.
And never did that again with my hand.
Yeah.
And you will never know what you're doing unless you watch back.
Yeah, you got to watch it back.
You will never, because we do things out of nerves, I think. Yeah, you just do things that you just don't realize you're doing.
Well, and music is expressive, right? And if you're doing it right, honestly, you should be expressing yourself. And you're going to make faces. You're going to move in certain ways that maybe you didn't realize. And you know what? Maybe sometimes they look a little silly, a little goofy. That's not always bad. Maybe that's a quirky little thing that you do, and it starts to become the thing that you do, and people recognize it. Oh yeah, that guy that does that, man. Yeah, it's cool, man. You rock out, or
My hand was not cool.
Well, right. Okay, so I'm not saying everything, but but it's by watching it and being able to study that, and you can make yourself look more the way you think you would want to look,
and you will start accepting how you look and how you are, and you will stop hating the way watching yourself.
Yeah.
Same thing as recording. I always say you have to. Everybody has such a negative reaction to hearing themselves, their voice back, whether that's talking or singing. So I always tell all my students, the only way you're going to learn to like what you hear is by actually listening back.
Sure. Because
your ear will start getting used to the sound of your voice, and then you'll start accepting it, and then you'll start liking it. Perhaps you will. Same thing with the performance, and you and I have watched ourselves perform so much.
Yeah.
We try to record almost every performance that we have, and we watch it back always. Yeah. Just because it's such a great learning experience. So we are so used to it that we don't look at ourselves and be like, oh my God, I hate myself. Oh my gosh, I don't want to see this.
Yeah.
And it's not like that. It's like, oh, okay, well, that was cool. I don't even watch myself with those eyes anymore.
Yeah, no, I don't either. Because I've watched back so many performances.
Yeah.
So many.
I listen more when I watch and I listen. I'm like, oh, if I see a cool move that I did, I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. I want to do that again.
Right.
That's next time.
You can pick up on little things, And in regards to recording yourself live performance-wise, and I think it does apply to the rehearsal room as well, especially when you're getting closer to a gig or whatever, and doing some recording and looking back, it's definitely good. But a big lesson that I've learned after many years of recording myself playing live and listening back, whether it's video or audio, because sometimes I'll just listen to audio. I'll record the show audio and not video, and just listen back. But in regards to mistakes, right? So this kind of goes back to that whole thing. And you said something earlier about, if the band does make a mistake, you're probably not going to notice, or, nobody in the audience is going to notice the mistake. I mean, unless it's huge. Unless it's a massive mistake.
Or you have like tons of musicians and songs.
Right, exactly, right. That know it and like, oh wow, yeah, they just goosed that. Right, exactly.
How many times have we seen shows and you're like looking at me like, whoa, that was not supposed to be there.
Right, that does happen. But for the average listener who's not a musician, who hasn't studied the language of music and all that, but what I've learned by listening back is that my mistakes that I judged myself for while doing them live on stage, when I would listen back to them, they aren't actually that bad.
Yes.
And when I started to realize on a regular basis that my mistake that I made actually, when listening back to it, sounded fine, I'm like, okay, well, what the hell? Okay, so I just came to the conclusion that my mistake was just something that I didn't plan to have happen. But just because it didn't go to the way I planned it doesn't mean it wasn't good. And to the person who doesn't know what my plan is, they don't know it didn't go according to plan. They're like, they don't even know that it did. For all they know, that's what I meant to do.
Right.
Even though it was incorrect. Right. And I mean, obviously, this is with, obviously it's not a complete train wreck and not like a massive, complete mistake. It was just something that went different. Like I didn't do a roll, for instance. Normally I do this fill and I go to do the crash after it. And for some reason, I didn't do the fill. Or the fill, I went to go do the fill and I dropped a stick. So all of a sudden, instead of the fill going bop, 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 it goes bop, 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 bop. Because I didn't have a stick for the first couple
I'm sorry,
minutes.
Dad, you've had a whole drum set fall on you while performing, and I think some people didn't even notice.
I've had all sorts of stuff.
I don't even know. This literally happened. A whole drum set fell on him.
The whole right side of the drum set, yeah.
It was the funniest thing. I have a video somewhere. If I find it, I'll post it. But I don't even. Yeah, he made it work. He did not miss a beat, and I don't even remember if I was in the audience. He was performing for something. I don't even remember if I noticed it live.
I don't think you did, because I remember telling you about it after, and you're like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah, and then I went back and watched the video, and it was so epic. I mean, it was it's comedy. You know, when you watch these videos on YouTube and you're like, you're just laughing of stupid things that are happening. This is one of them. We have to post that.
Yeah.
I have to find that video and post it because it was so good.
I literally had to throw the drum set off the stage, off the riser. I had to throw it off the riser because it fell onto my leg, so I couldn't even play.
It was like he was being attacked by the drum set, and he's like pushing.
See, but this is the thing, right? So it wasn't my drum set. I was playing at, it was a talent show of some sort.
Of a high school.
Yeah, long story. But anyway, I'm a 40-year-old man playing at a high school talent show. But hey, I got money, when you get paid to do a gig, you go do the gig, and the band was great. I mean, they're talented kids that,
that are doing pretty well right now.
Yeah,
actually.
they're doing great for themselves. And so I was definitely, happy to be a part of their journey and that thing that happened that day. I was happy to do it.
Well, we can plug them. Is it Violet Saturn?
Yeah, Violet Saturn.
Violet Saturn, the band. Their music is being played on KLOS, and they're doing very well. And anyway, so they were students of mine, and that's how we met. And we've helped them along the way. And now they're off doing their own thing. Yeah.
So it was this high school talent show. Anyways, I don't want to go too far into detail. Yeah. But anyway, so the drum set. Whoever set up the drum set did not know how to set up drums. They were not a drummer. And
excuses. Oh,
no. Well, hey, man. Well, I just know these things because I've had, that's not the first time I've had a drum set fall on me before.
Ooh.
Okay, no, it's not. That's happened to me before many times.
You see, there you go. The more you do it, the more you know how to cope with things.
I can still remember the first time it ever happened to me. I remember exactly I was at Serendipity Hall back in Uxbridge, Massachusetts. I was playing with Hostile Groove, and I had a rack system for my drum. It was the same side of the drum set and everything. It was the same thing, the right side of the drum set.
And now you're blaming it on the drum set? Well, maybe it's you.
Well, no. Because I know how to set it up now. and make it so. But anyways, but with that situation, it was something different because it was a rack system. But no, the tripod wasn't wide enough, and I could see as I was looking at the drum set, I'm like, oh my god, this is so close to just being a disaster. Before I even sat down at the drum set, but the thing is, I got no time to adjust any of this stuff and make it playable, and I had no time, and so I just had to get up there and essentially just play on this. I must have been set up by a singer. That's all I can say.
Okay, well, I mean, that's a fair thing to say, because I think I could set up your drums. We should test me.
Oh my lord.
We should test me one time and see if I could set up your drums.
The whole point is that do it. You never know when it's going to happen. You gotta learn how to do
every live performance is going to bring out
something new,
right? I mean, come on, having your whole drum set fall on you. I mean, that how often could that possibly happen?
Yeah.
And imagine being at your first gig. My god, I would feel so bad for that. Yeah. But if it was your first gig, you probably freeze and you probably stop and you wouldn't know how to deal with it, and that's fair. I mean, that's a fair thing.
Sure.
But that was not his first gig, know, and obviously and apparently now we learned that was not the first time that ever happened. So he's had the experience before, and therefore was able to cope with it.
Right.
Which again, like I said, doing it more will help you deal with stage fright and cope with the nerves and understand how to recover from any mistakes or random things that may occur.
Yeah, exactly. Another one. Okay, I know we're getting close.
Well, we can. I mean, go ahead.
Another thing that I do to try to calm myself and center myself before I perform is I don't want to say meditate, but it's a sort of a meditation / prayer. I don't know. I talk to myself a little bit, and I just say, at this point, listen, you've been doing this for a long time. You're a pro. You're practiced. You know the stuff. Relax. Have fun. Listen to your band and enjoy. And just whatever comes at you, you will know how to handle it, and you will handle it the best you possibly can when it happens. And it's not like that exactly, and honestly, I'm not sitting there all zen doing it. I'm usually working at the same time, putting something together, getting everything set up or whatever. But I do have just this little brief conversation with myself, and I might take a couple breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth, nice and deep. I might do that a few times, and then just shake the shoulders a little bit, and then all right, let's get to work.
Mm-hmm.
And so. Creating some kind of a routine for yourself where, you give yourself that little extra bit of confidence you may need, but also that forgiveness ahead of time if something does happen to go crazy, that, it's not the end of the world and it does happen, and just relax and figure it out as it happens,
Yeah, no, I like that. I like that very much. Talking to yourself and pepping? No.
Sure, pep talk.
Pep talk.
A pep talk in a way, yeah.
Yeah, and trusting the work that you put in, because, again, you should never go into a performance without working on something, okay? And even if you go to a karaoke bar, but you're going for a reason to practice, you should practice the song that you want to perform at the karaoke bar, because there's a different reason why. There's a goal here. So, anyways, but you shouldn't be going without preparation. So put in the work, put in the hours, and then that will give you also more confidence. And then tell yourself trust that you've done the work that's needed to be able to go out and have a good show.
Yep.
And a couple, you're going to be nervous, and then the first minute you may still be nervous, and then after that, you're going to just be having fun.
Yeah. You'll settle in. Yeah. Exactly. And then just the more you do it, the better it gets too. Yeah.
So don't be afraid. And something else, just to wrap this up, there's nothing better than live performance.
Yeah.
There really is. I mean, it's not for everyone. There have been people that have given it a shot and it just wasn't for them. And, it's not for everyone for whatever reason. I don't know. I think personally that they just didn't do it enough. And that's why they ended up not liking it. But whatever. I could accept the idea that maybe it's not for everyone.
Yeah, that's for sure.
But for most of you who go into music, I can guarantee you that there's nothing better than a live performance.
Yeah, it's exhilarating.
And no matter what happens, no matter even if you have a bad one or a good one, it's such a great feeling. It's such a great release. It's so fun. There's just nothing better.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
I highly encourage everyone to try it. And even if you have stage fright and you're nervous and all that, just know that it's something that you just have to do, and you will recover from it.
Yeah, you will. Non-fatal errors.
Non-fatal errors.
And you'll find a lot of people that music fans and people that enjoy live music. If you're up there doing what you're doing and giving it what you got, and doing your best, and you happen to do something that's just really bad, they're not going to judge you for it.
Exactly.
They're not going to hold it against you or be like, look at that,
Yeah.
oh my God. Most people, listen, there's always going to be some jerk out there that's going to do something like that, but most people are not, And, again, you live and learn. It doesn't hurt you. It doesn't kill you. Get up, do it again, and do it again. I mean, I've had some miserable live performances. I have, but I'm thankful that I have had them, and now at this point, they were terrible when they happened, devastating, but that's just life, and I pushed on, and hopefully that doesn't happen again.
Very cool. Very quickly, let's move on to Rock and Roll Triviologies, the game that was published in 2003 with the most obscure questions that most of us don't know the answers to, except for our friend Clint, who listens to our podcast and apparently knows all the answers. So, Dan, I have been asking you the questions throughout, and I know that you complained last time that you should ask me some questions.
So I'm going to do the questions?
So you can, or we can go back and forth. I don't know. It's up to you.
Let me see.
Okay, let's see how.
So this is decades.
Decades.
Well, okay. Oh, yeah, I mean, so let me see here. Sure. Maybe.
Oh.
1990s.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah, sort of.
This band's 1998 release, Dizzy Up the Girl, featured the #1 hit, Iris, that also appeared in the film.
Dolls. Goo Goo Dolls.
Okay.
Goo Goo Dolls.
Yeah. There you go. Nice one. Yeah.
I should have let you finish the question.
Yeah, right. But
Sorry,
I didn't know it was in the film City of Angels.
Yes, I did know that.
I don't think I've ever saw that movie.
That was with Nicolas Cage.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure.
All right. Let's try this one too, 1980s.
Okay.
The song Celebration was a #1 hit for this gang in 1981.
Earth, Wind, and Fire.
No.
Oh, hold on.
This gang in quotation marks.
Celebrate.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God. I thought it was Earth, Wind, and Fire.
No.
I don't know.
Cool.
Cool
And the
Gang.
Gang.
Cool
Cool
and the
and
Gang.
the Gang.
Cool and the Gang.
Cool
Oh,
and
man.
the Gang.
I'm sorry, guys.
Close,
I know I
close.
should have known that. I don't
Close,
know. I'm
close,
sorry.
close.
I'm sorry.
All right.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna-
Please
hold
don't
on.
judge me.
Let me try another. Let me see another. I don't think that one's gonna work. I don't think so. What's this one gonna say? Oh, we already did that one. Okay, so we're gonna forget the decade.
Hold on. Oh, the decades. Okay.
What is this? Awards?
Awards.
Let's try awards. Let's see what happens with this one. Okay.
You see, I'm good with the 90s.
Huh?
I'm good with the 90s.
Okay. Whew. I don't even know if I could actually do this. I know I probably would have got one, but I saw the
Come on,
question.
boy. Just ask it. It's okay.
Yeah, I would only get one.
Just ask it.
So if you can get one,
Okay.
I'll be happy.
Okay.
Name at least 2 Bob Dylan songs that were recorded by Jimi Hendrix.
Dude.
Yes, I know. The only one.
Hold on. Red, red wine?
Oh my God! Okay, we're gonna edit that out.
Okay.
Red wine. Oh my God, Electra.
We're editing that out. Can you ask the question
Red
again?
wine. No, I'm moving on.
Isn't that the name of the song?
There is a song called Red Wine.
Oh,
It has
it's
nothing
not-
to do with Bob Dylan
I'm sorry.
or Jimi Hendrix. That's UB40.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that's a good song. I mean, I like that one. No, all along the Watchtower.
Oh, I know that song.
Would be one of them.
Oh, yeah.
So, but yeah.
Okay, Dan. George Michael's 1987 Grammy-winning album included 4 #1 hit singles. Name the album.
Faith?
Yeah.
I think we had that.
Oh. Yeah, maybe.
Hold on, what about this one here? So, we got... Oh, yeah. Okay, this man changed his name and called himself The Artist for 6 years during the 1990s.
I mean, the one person who keeps changing his name. Is he a rapper?
No.
Oh.
Deceased at this point.
I don't know.
Relatively recently. Within the last 5 years.
1990s?
What about if I said the artist formerly known as? Because he went by that, I think, for a while, too.
I have no clue.
Prince.
Really?
Yeah.
He went as the artist?
Uh-huh. And then I think for a while, I remember it being the artist formerly known as Prince. Yeah, he did that in, like, the 90s.
What a great guy, but, like, what a weirdo.
Well, sometimes that's what they are, The weirdos are the greatest ones.
Yeah.
Man,
Last one.
In 1976, this group had the fastest-selling debut album to date. It includes the hits More Than a Feeling, Long Time, and Peace of Mind.
More Than a Feeling. Hold on, what decade? 1970?
76 is the year I was born.
What the heck? Did you know the answer to this?
I would have got this, yes.
I don't know.
Because I used to... I like this band a lot. They had some good...
What are they called?
Boston.
More Than a Feeling.
More
God.
And Peace of Mind, too, right?
Well, I don't know Peace of Mind, but yeah, I knew more than... I can't even sing it, but honestly, I forgot that that's Boston. Mm-hmm. I always forget about the band Boston. I'll be honest with you. I always forget, about them.
This woman rocker is married to Cameron Crowe and has written the music scores for movies Jerry Maguire and Almost Famous. You know.
Hold on. See the first beginning of the question again?
This woman rocker is married to Cameron Crowe.
What the hell's Cameron?
And has written the music scores for the movies Jerry Maguire.
Is Cameron Crowe a guy?
I think he's like... What do you mean a guy? As opposed to a woman?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a guy. I think he's a movie director. I think. I could be wrong. Yeah, I feel like her name has been at least in the very recent future, like it's somebody that you've known or like been somewhat close to in some roundabout kind of way.
Like, not Nancy. No, Nancy Wilson?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I thought about it at first, but then I was like, she wrote the music for Almost Famous?
Yeah, I guess so. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. And that's why I was like, I couldn't. That was the first thing I was going to say, but I just couldn't relate Nancy Wilson to Almost Famous.
Yeah.
But
Can you get this one? One more.
One more.
Yeah, I'm just curious if you can get this one. The 1971 album, Paranoid, was this English heavy metal group's debut album.
I was going to say garbage, but it's not garbage. No, I know, because you just said heavy metal, and I'm like, okay, that's not it.
In 1971.
Oh, okay. Well, it's Aussie, it's Black Sabbath.
All right, good.
Yeah.
Garbage, Black Sabbath,
Same thing.
Yeah.
No, the reason I said garbage is because the minute you said paranoid, but I think I'm paranoid. The minute you said that, the minute you said
that. And we did that at the school.
And I just did it with one of my students. I thought garbage.
Yeah.
But then you said heavy metal British band or whatever, and I was like, okay, that's definitely not garbage.
Yeah, definitely not.
Anyways, well, that was cool.
Yeah.
I did pretty okay, except for the whole Cool in the Game. Sorry, and Bob Dylan. I'll try to edit that out if I can.
No, Bob Dylan.
Stop!
Red wine.
Didn't he do it, or was it Bob Marley that did it? Somebody, no, I know, but I thought like one of them did a cover of it.
Red Wine?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Okay, whatever. But I should have known the Watchtower.
I mean, yeah. As far as I know, Red Wine is
UB40
song. Yeah.
I know. I don't know why.
And I don't know if anybody ever covered it.
I don't know why I thought of that. Maybe because I'm looking at the wine that's... and because I'm pregnant and would love a glass of wine, but I can't have it. So red wine. Anyways, thanks you guys so much. We are SoundCheck Music School, a music school in Canoga Park, and we are available for in-person lessons as well as online lessons. So wherever you are in the world, we can help you with your musical journey. Please check us out at soundcheckmusicschool.com. You can find all our Facebook, Instagram, YouTube links and all that on there. And if you are listening or watching to this podcast, I would highly encourage and ask you that please leave in the comment box anything you would like us to talk about. Because we want to hear your ideas. We want to get some ideas as to what we can bring to you, and perhaps, bring our point of views on some stuff that you may want to know. Thank you again so much for listening. We are SoundCheck. This is SoundCheck. I can't talk. This is SoundCheck Music School's podcast, episode 14. My name is Electra.
I'm Dan.
Have a good night.